I want to start with a quick story from my life, um, where my mom always told me, "You are a very ungrateful person." And I was like, "How?" And she then started to explain to me what gratitude is. And we got a point that I was like, okay, when someone is giving me a gift, thankful is not enough. I said, so what should I do? Hug the person? Should I give them a kiss? What exactly are they expecting from me? And that's when I started the process of gratitude. But it still wasn't clear what gratitude actually meant. It's not something that you feel. Gratitude is something that you work with. Gratitude requires hands. You need to use your hands to show gratitude. And we're going to be traveling around the Bible tonight, just so we all can understand a little bit more what gratitude actually stands for. But here's the first question. How can I show gratitude? I just said that gratitude is an action. It's something that we do, require our hands. So how can I show it? What do I need to do in order to show gratitude for others? What does it require? And in order to explain this, it basically means gratitude is extra. Gratitude is doing more than the person actually needs. Is doing the extra mile. Jesus mentions about that, the extra mile, do the extra, go a little bit further. That's what gratitude stands for. You are so thankful. You are very thankful for whatever you received, that you are going an extra mile, and that's when you are showing gratitude. And here's the text. Luke 15:22-24. Many of you might know this is the parable of the prodigal son. And here what happens in those verses. But the father said to his servant, quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fatted calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate, for this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and he is found. So they began to celebrate. How is that connected to gratitude? You might be asking yourself. The father was so grateful that his son was back, that he decided to celebrate. Because if we go a little bit back on that history, we're going to see that father, that son actually, asked for his father for what was his right on the monetary part of the family. He asked for his inheritance. He asked for the money that belonged to him. And what did he do? He took that money, he spent in the most unusual ways, but he decided to come back. The father could easily just open arms and say, oh, I'm glad you're back. Welcome back, welcome home. He could have done just that. But that was not enough. The father actually gave him a party because he was grateful. The father was doing the extra mile. The father was going a little bit further. That was the father doing. The father was doing way more than he actually needed. That's what gratitude stands for. It's the extra. The father was so grateful to have his son back that he gave all the best to welcome to welcome him back home. But we also have another example in Genesis 4. Genesis 4:4. And here's the text. And Abel also brought an offering, fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. The Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offerings. The context for that verse is two brothers, Abel and Cain. If you have ever started the Bible on Genesis, you might remember that story. One brother shows up with what he had best and offer God. God, here is my flock. Here's the best what I have. I'm offering to you. And his brother, offers just some fruits. What was just what he had left. One brother kills the other, and God curses the other brother. So Cain kills Abel, and we have the curse over Cain. But what did Abel do? He gave his best to God. Gratitude you can express to others, but you can also express towards God. And that's what God waits from you. A grateful heart. It's the extra. God don't want your leftovers. He wants your best. And it might be hard. It might be really hard. Sometimes we are between two decisions. Sometimes we are facing a difficult time where you actually want to do something else, but God is asking you to do another thing. You need to choose whatever you have best and offer to God. That is you showing to God your grateful heart for whatever He did to your life. And believe me, He has already done many things. Amen? So, just circling back, gratitude is not a feeling, it's an action. That we understand. What's a feeling? Feeling is being thankful, but gratitude is you actually taking your hands and doing something, right? So that part we're done. Second question for tonight. How can I be grateful through hardness? Well, I remember my mom also taught me very well when she said that I am a very ungrateful person when I was younger. When I was going through something very difficult, she was also, you're still very ungrateful. And I was like, but how can I be grateful? How can I be grateful? Something really bad is happening to me. How can I show gratitude in that situation? And that's when I start searching. And I discovered that gratitude is perspective. Gratitude is a matter of perspective. If you go back to the message from last week, last Friday, Matt read a text very important in First Thessalonians. Yes, right? If I'm not mistaken, verse 5, 4, 5, something like that. And what does it say? If you were in your small group, you remember very well. It says, rejoice always. And that question came up in my group. And I was like, how can you rejoice always? It's hard. Think about it. Well, at the beginning of the year, I suffered a car accident, major car accident. How could I be grateful for the car accident? It doesn't make sense. But the Bible requires me to rejoice always. And if I'm not rejoicing, I'm not following the Bible. So that's when I start to think that gratitude is a matter of perspective. Because if I put into perspective my car accident, yes, I suffered a car accident, it's really bad. But if I look on the good side, I didn't die. So it's a matter of perspective. And we have a story similar to that, way more worse, which is Job. If you open your Bible on Job 1, verse 20 to 21, it says, "At this, Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground in worship and said, 'Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised.'" This man, if you read the story of Job, you see that he lost everything. He lost his family, his wealth, his health. He had nothing left. And who took it away? God. So you might be asking, why God would ever do that to someone? Isn't he the God of love? Well, he's teaching something to us. And Job is also teaching something to us. What Job is teaching us is, even in those moments, even when we are feeling really bad, when nothing is working out, when it looks like that we lost everything, we still have God on our side. Because that's what he's saying in those verses. I lost everything. I came naked to this world, and I will depart naked. Because believe me, no matter how much you are accumulating through your life, you're not bringing them after death. You can have all the money of the world. You can have all the gold, everything. You're not bringing those stuffs with you. And that's what Job is saying. And what Job is doing is he's being grateful because he still have the one God on his side. And sometimes we take that for granted. Actually, most of the times we take that for granted. We think, doesn't make sense. I've lost everything. I have no reason to be happy. I have nothing to be grateful for. I'm in a completely disgrace. But what you're doing, you're focusing most of your time and all your effort on the bad part of the problem. You're considering only one perspective, and I know it's hard. On Wednesday, someone in my group said that she did something to her ankle. I forgot the word. I don't know. Something to her ankle. She didn't broke it, just like it's stretched. Thank you. And she was like, and I asked her, were you rejoicing? You should be happy. And she was like, no, it was hurting a lot. How could I be happy? And I was like, so you're not following the Bible. The Bible told you to rejoice always. So even when it's hurting, you should be rejoicing. And the discussion went on, and at some moment I asked her, what else happened that night? And she said, oh, yeah, my ankle was still hurting, but I could sit down and watch the game. I didn't really want to play, so I could watch. So there was a positive side. she just couldn't focus on that. And that's why perspective is key. Because we are not, when trouble comes, when hardness come, we are focusing only on that. Our senses get blurry, everything near us gets dark, and it's hard to focus on that one specific thing, which might be the good part of everything. Many years ago, when I was still in middle school, 7th grade, 8th grade, something like that, I read a book in Portuguese, and I actually had to research to see if there is in English, called Pollyanna. What's that book about? A girl who lost both of her parents, and she goes to live with her aunt. Her aunt doesn't like her. She actually brings Pollyanna to live in the basement, if I'm not wrong. It's been not that many years, but it's been some years. But she brings Pollyanna to live in the basement by herself and all alone. And she got a letter from her father. Her father that died a couple weeks before, she got a letter from him before he dies. He wrote, "You shall always play the glad game." When everything gets bad, you should always look for the brighter side. And that's what the book is about. Immediately, her life is turned upside down. She now doesn't have her parents. She doesn't have siblings. She's living with someone that doesn't like her. But she started to think, what's the brighter side in all of this? And when she actually started to play the game, she understood that there's always a brighter side. That's the plot and the moral of the story. But I think that illustrates very good the topic that we are talking about. Third question. Why all of this matter? This message I titled as Gratitude 101. I am junior in UMass Lowell, so because I'm at school, I thought that was a very funny title to give a message, and because now we're going to be approaching some things that I recently find out about gratitude. Gratitude actually can help you physically. How? Gratitude can improve your immune system, your sleep quality, and lower your blood pressure. You will be doing not only good for someone else, you'll be taking care of yourself. How crazy is that? You can be a grateful person and be taking care of yourself. How gratitude can help you socially, improve your mental health, and strengthen your relationships. Your relationships, your friendships, the relationship that you have with your parents, with your siblings, cousins. All of those relationships can change if you express your gratitude. Gratitude, nothing so simple could actually be so important to our lives. And spiritually, God rejoices from a grateful heart. Someone that is not just thankful for what he has done, but also cares and also asks for someone else. You can show to God that you are grateful by not asking for yourself, but asking for someone else. I think that's my perspective, at least before I actually got to understand more or less what the Bible was about. When I was like praying, I was like, God, please give me this. I need that. Can you please help me with that? It doesn't make sense. So I was always asking for me, which shows that I did not understand the reason why I should be praying in the first place. Prayer is also a time that you can devote, you can give to pray for someone else. We always have a friend who needs a prayer. We always have someone who needs something from God. And when we take the time to not ask for something and actually ask for someone else, God sees how grateful we are for what we already have. Because when we are not praying for us, we show to God that we're happy with what we have. Even though in the bottom of our hearts, we are always asking for something else. There's always something else that we need. There's always something extra. I have this, but I also want that. I have an iPhone 13, but the 15 is brand new. When those things start to get to our mindset of nothing is actually enough, we are not being grateful to what we have. And that's a very dangerous pathway, by the way. Because when we start to value the things we have more than the things, when we start to value the things that we don't have more than the things that we already have, God might try to teach you a lesson right there. And he starts like taking some things from you. Remember, God comes first everywhere. It's not just here at church, not just at home, not just with the friendships. It's everywhere, all the time, no exceptions. Think about that. Sometimes we divide our lives in different sectors. Oh, this is where I manage. This is where God manage. At least I give him the control sometimes. This is where I don't want to deal with, so I live to God. When we do that, you can, if you reflect and if you think about it, everything is going to go wrong. Every single thing. And I talk from experience. One day I realized that I have around 5 main areas in my life. Church, school, family, friends. 4, not 5. And I was like, okay, my family is going well. I'm going just fine at school. I have my friendships. It's been nice. But all of a sudden, my life here at church was strange. And I was like, oh, that's not working. Something's wrong with that. But because I was trying to manage everything, I was not being grateful because I always wanted something else. It's dangerous. It really is. All of that is just to make clear and to show you some self-reflections that you can make by yourself. Try to come up with the areas of your life that you are always trying to manage. Now you erase everything else. And you're like, okay, that's one area that I'm trying to manage. See how it's going. Believe me, when that is going super well, the other ones are not going that well. But coming back to the first question, how can I show gratitude to others? Imagine we're getting close to Christmas, right? Who's excited for Christmas? Anyone excited? I love Christmas. Jingle bell. Anyway, I'm super excited for Christmas. And Christmas is when you can have the best experience of your life about showing gratitude. One relative of yours shows up with a big box. Guess what? You unwrap the thing and it's a new PlayStation 5, all wide with 1 terabyte, super nice. Brand new, just for you. And you're like, thank you. You almost take the person to live with you. Because you are very grateful. The gift was just amazing. And another relative walks in and gives you a pair of socks. All right. Thank you. But are you showing gratitude? No. I don't think so. You might be feeling thankful, but you're not expressing gratitude. Gratitude is the same for everybody. The same gratitude that you show to the person who gave you a PlayStation 5, you also need to show to the person that gave you a pair of socks. You also need to show to the person that showed up to your house for Christmas party and gave you a hug and happy Christmas. Didn't buy anything. Gratitude is the same for everybody. Because if you're not expressing the same gratitude to everyone, you have relationships with interests. And that's another thing for another day, but it's not good. So those are things that you can think and you can reflect to make sure that what you're doing is being grateful. And remember, when you are showing gratitude, you need to do your best plus the extra. That's how you show your gratitude to others. But doesn't need to be something expensive. When we get close to Mother's Day, we are like, oh, it's Mother's Day, so I'm gonna show how grateful I am from my mom. Sounds like she's only your mom on Mother's Day, not the rest of the year. Anyway, so you go and you're like, oh, I'm gonna buy this, she's gonna love it, it's just what she needs it. And sometimes you look for the most expensive thing. because you want to show her your gratitude. And that happened to me. One day I bought a beautiful necklace for my mom, expensive. When I gave her the necklace, she said, really, that's my gift? And I was like, can you be grateful just a little bit? And she was like, but that's not thoughtful. You bought me the first thing very expensive that you found. Gratitude is your best. The gift doesn't need to be expensive. Whatever you're going to do to show gratitude doesn't have to be expensive. It needs to be thoughtful. You need to actually think on something that the person is going to love it. It can be just a card with very honest words, and that might be the greatest way for you to show gratitude to someone. Everyone following me so far? Does that make sense? And to wrap up, here's one quote from a famous writer in Brazil that I translated. So might not be perfect, but I'll try my best to explain. Because I am nothing and know nothing, I do nothing but giving all the best I have. Does that make sense? Let's go. Let's try again. Because I am nothing, we are actually nothing. From the dirt we came to the dirt we are coming back. And know nothing. Believe me, you do not know everything that you can. Even though we are very smart and intellectual people compared to the people years ago. We are always learning something new, but you don't know everything, so that's why you know and know nothing. I do nothing but giving all the best I have. Sometimes we can't do what we actually want to do because we don't have the means to do it. But within what we have, we are doing our best. That is what people expect from you. That is what God expects from you. When Abel was offering something to God, he was giving his best. What he had, what was the most precious one between all he had. True. But he was doing what he had best. He was giving God what was, for him, what he had best. And that's the reflection I really hope that you guys remember the main points. Because what I tried to do is give you all practical things that you can apply to your life. And that's why I'm wrapping up on something really important. Showing gratitude is just you doing your best. It can be simple. It can be something you made. It can be something that you spend time working on it. Is that your best? That's the question you should ask yourself. What I'm giving to this person is my best. What I'm giving to God is my best. I really hope you can leave this room tonight, go back home, and think, am I giving my best within the limits that I have to the people around me, to my friends, to God? Because if you're not, it's not too late to start. If we still remember Matt's message, he said, gratitude generates more gratitude. That's the cycle of gratitude. But gratitude is something you practice. It's something that you work on little by little. It's something that you can start today, and tomorrow is going to be better, and the day after tomorrow is going to be way better, and so on and so forth. So that's what I, Gabriel, hope that you can do tonight. Walk out and what can I do today so tomorrow can be even better? Um, Gratitude, it's not an easy concept. It's not. And believe me when I say it was really hard for me to come up with this. If it wasn't God, I wouldn't be able to do it. But I do hope, and that's where I'm going to wrap up and pray that we can work on it. We can work on it. You can be better, and you will be better if you start expressing your gratitude. People need to see, and it might be through your gratitude that you are touching other people's life. People might see God in you through the actions of gratitude.